What's crackalackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. And this is my running back rankings as they stand currently, doing this right before bowl season. So a lot of this can change. I'm giving you 25 running backs because over the last 5 years, on average, 23 running backs get drafted every year. So I'm going with 25. That's a nice round number. But before we get into it, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. And leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Be active in the comments, and remember, be cool, be civil. Let's have a discussion. You're not gonna agree with everything I have here. I get that, I understand that. So let's talk about it. And yeah, I got a mock draft coming out Tuesday or Wednesday. So be on the look for that. It's only the first round. And I'm gonna do another rankings this next week. I'm not sure on what yet. So we'll see about that, but let's go ahead, let's dive in. We're gonna start with 21 through 25. These guys I kind of consider late day 3 or undrafted free agents. So typically these first four, Joshua Kelly, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon, man, the guy, he's battled with injuries all year, but I definitely feel like this guy, he gives off a Marshawn Lynch-esque vibe. So man, I'd love to see more of him. So it's quite unfortunate that he's been banged up this year. Joshua Kelly, he doesn't got great speed, and he's more of a physical runner. So this is what you're going to kind of see from this part of my list, is these guys kind of lack in the passing game. They can't pass block, or you don't really know if they can be pass catching threats, and that kind of drops you on my board personally. If you can't, especially in today's NFL, it's a pass happy NFL now. So if you can't be a factor in the pass game, then I'm not gonna consider you a highly sought out prospect. Then we got Benny Leme out of Charlotte. This guy's been a monster, but again, I want to see more in the pass game. We haven't seen that. Larry Roundtree, the third out of Missouri. This guy's a little short. Got a thick body though. Definitely has that old school bell cow. Yeah, I think that's what they refer to. Bell cow type of feel. But again, the pass game, what do you offer in that aspect? And then A.J. Dillon, a guy a lot of people are hot on, and honestly, he could go up my list. It's just with him, what's going to be important, what I probably won't move him any higher than 20, 21, is I want to see that 40 time. I want to see that you're not going to be a slow running back. You know, we know he's a bruiser. We know this guy's been a monster throughout his career there at Boston College. But I need to know the speed. I need to know if you have breakaway speed. Are you going to be running that like a 4.6, 4.7? I don't think you'll be running that low, but that will be important to determine where he may go in the draft, where he will be sought out at. And then here we got 20 through 11 again, and you're gonna see these guys. All these guys are firmly day 3 picks for me. So anywhere between the 4th to the 7th round. Now JJ Taylor, he's been phenomenal. I think as a pass catching threat, he's been very, I don't want to say underutilized, but they haven't really taken advantage of him as a passing threat there at Arizona. I mean, just go back to that Washington game. The guy should have had a couple of touchdowns in the pass game. He runs very slick routes. And I really like him in that aspect as maybe a potential, I don't want to say third down or change of pace back, but a passing down back. Then LaMichael Perrine, a lot of people are very high on this guy. I can see why he's got good speed, not great speed, but I don't want to say he's like Trey Richardson-esque. I mean, you commonly see this guy, rather than looking for the lanes, tries to make him himself. Sometimes he just runs straight into the line. So I can see what people like about him, but I mean, there's still a lot to desire with him. And then Anthony McFarland out of Maryland, the guy, he's fast. He's super fast, but I want to see you be able to pass block. I want to see you be able to be a receiver out of the backfield, especially with that speed. So there's little hiccups with that. For me, I really wish he would have stayed because he's only a redshirt sophomore. Darius Anderson out of TCU. This guy's very underrated. I think he reminds me a lot of Matt Breida out of from San Francisco, the Niners running back. This guy, I think he definitely has the possibility to raise his stock a ton. I don't think he'll get into that day 2 type of territory, but he could definitely be early day 3. And then James Robinson, just another guy. He's had a great career there at Illinois State, but we haven't seen much of him in the pass game. I mean, I think just recently they utilized him in a game, but I mean, he doesn't have a lot of receptions there on tape. And then these two guys kind of go like, they've had very similar years. Kylan Hill and then Benjamin at Arizona State. These guys, they have the ability to make tacklers miss. They have that ability. They've just been kind of so-so, especially against better competition. Especially Hill, man. Hill, once he started facing those more fierce SEC teams, his production kind of just disappeared. So I want to see more from that. Or I want to see more from you, especially in those games that they need you. They need you. So they're kind of in the same boat as far as prospects for me. These were two guys I was very high on at the beginning of the year, and then they were great at the beginning of the year too when they faced a few cupcake teams, but yeah, they've kind of fallen a little bit on my board. Levante Bellamy out of Western Michigan. This guy is a laser. This guy's gonna run maybe a 4.3 or even lower. He's a laser, but they don't utilize him in the pass game there at Western Michigan, which kind of puzzles me. But I think he definitely has the ability to be used in the pass game. They just don't choose to do so. This guy's a weapon. This guy's been flying. He's been climbing up my board a lot, and I really look forward to seeing where he may go, because I think he is legitimately can be a weapon. Reggie Corbin, I feel he's very elusive out of Illinois. He's had a really good year, but I think he's kind of in that Austin Eckler mold. We haven't seen too much of him in the pass game, but I think we can. He has that ability, that elusiveness. He's just very crisp on his cuts. There's a lot to like about Reggie Corbin. I think he's a very underrated prospect. And then Cam Akers, I know this is going to drive everybody crazy having him this far down, but to be fair, I had him much further down. I was higher on him at the beginning of the year before the season actually started. And I know for me, he looked too bouncy in the backfield. He looked too indecisive. But then going back and really looking at it, I mean, we know Florida State's got a terrible offensive line. And they've had just the coaching changes in the last few years has kind of really change of schemes really hurt this guy's his production, but the ability is there. I think he's climbing back up for me, and I really look forward to seeing more from him. I think he's not as elusive as some people may think he is. The guy's run a lot of routes there at Florida State, so I want to see a little more elusiveness, especially like maybe pass after a catch or yards after the catch. There we go, words right. And I think if he's an okay pass blocker, which I mean that's something I think is huge in today's NFL, the ability to be a pass blocker. So again, this is a guy that could definitely jump back into my top 10 when it's all said and done. I think I have a fourth round grade on him, and then 10 through 1 or 1 through 10, however you want to think about it. These first two guys I still have as day 3. They're 4th rounders. Demetric Fulton out of UCLA. He's primarily used as a pass catcher. They'll line up really everywhere. He he reminds me a ton of James White, and I'm really high on this guy. He'll probably fall down my board a little bit. I could see him maybe more of a 5th, 6th round pick, but as of the moment, I'm loving it. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he has helped his stock so much. I really want him to come back. I think he's such a great prospect. He's a great pass catcher. He's pretty good running back in general, but really it's his pass catching that's just wow. I really do want to see him actually come back. He's my first day 3 running back I would pick off the board. So yeah, man, he's had a heck of a year, but a lot of guys for LSU have. Looking at you, Joe Burrow. And then I got all the rest of these running backs are day 2. For me, running back, you have to be a special type of talent to go in the first round. I'm talking Saquon. I'm talking to Zeke, Christian McCaffrey. Look at Jonathan Jacobs. The guy, he was used everywhere there at Alabama. They'd line him up in the slot sometimes. So you got to be a very special running back, I think, to be taken in the first round. That's just my take on it. I think Travis Etienne and DeAndre Swift definitely have the ability to go in the first round, but I'll get to them in a minute. Let's talk about Sean Vaughn out of Vandy. Vandy's had a terrible year. They're just not a good squad. But the guy, he's everything I thought that I wanted to see from Eno Benjamin and Kylan Hill. He forces tacklers to miss. Even when the offense is struggling, he has been successful. I like him tremendously. Chuba Hubba Bubba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. I want this guy to come back. Another redshirt sophomore. My gripes with him is, where did all this? Why aren't you producing in the passing game? He did last year. He did the season before. He hasn't done this year, which puzzles me. But he's been a very, very dominating runner. The guy is just a monster. He breaks tackles like nobody's business. I don't think he's really that fluid of a runner, if that makes sense. He's kind of stiff in the hips. So I don't think at the next level he'll. I don't want to make it sound like he's not an athlete. He's a tremendous athlete, but I think he'd be a little bit slower to get to the lane just because of how stiff he looks. He doesn't look flexible, if you know what I'm saying. Najee Harris coming in at 6 for Alabama. He's had a tremendous year. I'm this tempted to have him jump Jonathan Taylor, just because he's been that good, especially as a pass catcher. I think that's the difference between Najee Harris and Jonathan Taylor is Najee Harris, which coming into the year, he was bigger back where I'm like, I don't think he was going to be much of a threat in the pass game, and man, I was wrong. Jonathan Taylor, listen, you could say, yes, he has improved as a pass catcher this year, to which I'll say they passed the ball more to him. He's not running hard routes. He's not running hard routes for a running back. You're seeing screens, you're seeing little digs, you're not seeing difficult routes. I don't think he has improved. I don't want to say he hasn't improved. I don't think he's improved as much as people think as a pass catcher. I still have him as a 3rd round pick. I'm just not high on him as I am these other 4 guys. Zach Moss and J.K. Dobbins, they're in the same boat for me. Honestly, I might have Dobbins jumping Moss soon just because Dobbins, man, he's such an electrifying running back. He does it all. But he's also playing behind probably the 2nd best offensive line in college football. And he's done it against a Big Ten that the Big Ten's not exactly stock full of the talent as the SEC. And I mean, so there's a little reservations for me there. But honestly, after I might have him come in as 3 after the playoffs are all said and done. He's really been a great running back, good lateral runner. He's got that Le'Veon Bell-esque vision and kind of patience about him, And then Zach Moss, the poor guy. Let's talk about this Oregon game, Utah, the Pac-12 championship game. That Utah offensive line they played bad. They played pretty bad. What was it? Kayvon Thibodeau, I believe his name, the freshman defensive lineman for Oregon, just wreaked havoc. Stinking Zach Moss, he was breaking tackles like nobody's business. The problem is he was having to break 1 or 2 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He was getting hit before he even had a chance. The guy's a good running back. Borderline great running back. I like him a lot. He's a very physical guy. So, I mean, honestly, for him, for me, it's like Zach Moss and J.K. Dobbins. They're both neck and neck. You can't go wrong with either choice. And then Travis Etienne and then DeAndre Swift. I think for now they are above. They're in a tier of their own. DeAndre Swift is the best all-around receiving back in this draft. Yeah, he's pretty good as a runner. I don't think he's as great as probably. I don't think he's as good as a runner as probably like Chuba, Najee, Jonathan, but he makes it up for being a phenomenal pass catcher, and I love that. And then ETN, no one, according to PFF, no one's breaking more tackles per carry. He's breaking like a tackle every half carry, which is ludicrous. He's a big home run threat. The guy is a monster. I think he's ideal for a zone running scheme, zone blocking scheme. And while Clemson doesn't showcase him as a pass catcher, the boy has the ability to be a phenomenal pass catcher. And like I said, home run threat. I love ETN. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, there were some guys I may have left off, but I have them as undrafted free agents. So if you're looking for like a Greg McCray from Central Florida, Rico Dowdle from South Carolina, there's the trio out of Louisiana Lafayette. There's a lot of running backs in here. People are going to be left off the list. But till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.